Bingo Blitz rules.
If your bingo has ads in it,
That's not a bingo.
if it doesn't have the coolest tournaments, mini games, and the most breathtaking design,
Nope, not a bingo.
if your bingo moment makes you feel so excited that you just want to burst in joy and scream out loud, bingo! Sorry, so you're playing...
Bingo Blitz? Now that's a bingo. Discover a world of excitement with Bingo Blitz, the #1 free bingo game. Download Bingo Blitz and play for free.
Now that's a bingo.
Hi, this is Rob Benedict.
And I am Richard Spate. We were both on a little show you might know called Supernatural.
It had a pretty good run, 15 seasons, 327 episodes.
And though we have seen, of course, every episode many times, we figured, hey, now that we're wrapped, let's watch it all again.
And we can't do that alone, so we're inviting the cast and crew that made the show along for the ride. We've got writers, producers, composers, directors, and we'll of course have some actors on as well, including some certain guys that played some certain pretty iconic brothers.
It was kind of a little bit of a left field choice in the best way possible.
The note from Kripke was, he's great, we love him, but we're looking for like a really intelligent Duchovny type.
With 15 seasons to explore, it's going to be the road trip of several lifetimes. So please join us and subscribe to Supernatural Then and Now.
With something like 5 million podcasts, finding a really good one can take a ton of time. So let me recommend one. It's called Something You Should Know. I'm the host, Mike Carruthers, and in each episode, we discuss topics that can be really helpful, like how to read people better, the psychology of crowds, or fun things like the story of Legos, or why you probably wouldn't be here if it weren't for horses. Something You Should Know is the name of it, wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi.
Hello.
Gorgeous truck just drove by. Do you like trucks?
Depends.
On who's driving it?
Mm-hmm. But I'm more of a sport car gal.
You don't say. I like an old truck. I do not like don't give me a new truck.
They don't make them with the Hemis in them anymore. Remember that truck got a Hemi in it.
A Hemi?
Yeah.
Like
it's something to do with the engine. Okay. I don't know what it is, but it was a whole commercial. Like for a while, they'd be like, that truck got a Hemi in it. And these big trucks that were loud.
Oh, I don't like noise.
Then what kind of truck do you like? Even old ones are going to make noises.
Yeah, but I like looking at them from afar, and then in my hypothetical world, the old truck I would have, similar to like the old Bronco I would have, is not a gas guzzler, is not bad for the environment, has seatbelts, is totally safe, and isn't too loud.
So you want an old one, the old body type, but then put a new engine in it? An electric engine?
Give her young energy and a hardened old body.
I have seen those people that redo the Broncos,
Melissa.
And I've seen the pink ones.
Oh, bitch. When I tell you, literally, all I do is send months those pictures. And it's like $175,000. I'm like, but it's so cute. And he keeps reminding me, babe, these cars are not up to like the safety things that you would want.
If they've gutted it completely and put in completely new, brand new stuff, then it is. Yeah. But, if it's just somebody working on a car, then no. But they've started gutting old Mustangs too.
Oh, yeah.
And just putting in where they're plugins, but they have the old body type.
USB.
Yep.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Could pimp my ride. I actually like my ride. My car's pretty cute.
It's cute.
So fucking dirty.
I am going to make mine is caked on.
Mine's disgusting. Well, mine has been to the golf course multiple times a week for months. Oh, by the way, I moved one of your trash cans so I could get my car parked in. But then I was like looking around and I was like, where the fuck do I put the trash can? So then I just put it back. So I reblocked myself in.
Okay.
Because I just wasn't sure where it went. I have to still use directions to get here as well as to get to my own home.
That's understandable because sometimes there's like, different ways to go depending on traffic. I don't know how to go to most places.
I don't know how to go anywhere. When I was like trying to go, where was I trying to go? I was trying to go somewhere. Oh, I was trying to go to a meeting. And then I accidentally started driving. Like my And I was...
So you know how to get here, but like if you think about it,
my body knows. My brain does not know. That's why I'm with everywhere, though.
Yeah. When I'm going somewhere, I always use my GPS, highway, whatever's fastest. But when I'm leaving, I love to take a scenic route if I'm not in a rush.
You and Mott.
And so I turn it on so that I avoid highways. And yesterday I was leaving Little Poppy's birthday party. And I did the scenic route. I was in some canyon. I don't know what fucking canyon I was in. It was scary as fuck. And I had my top down too. So I'm just cruising, looking over the whatever, like mountain cliffs I'm coming through. I eventually ended up in Cheviot Hills.
I don't know where the fuck you were.
Yeah.
That's
but
crazy.
It was an adventure. I had fun. It was like fun where it was like a little bit of fear in there.
That's kind of fun.
Yeah, a little bit of fear.
Fun with the high stakes.
But I eventually got here.
Well, the scenic route that Mott's and I took on the way back we went to Target because we needed to get cool weather sheets because I can't find where I put my other ones. And so we bought some new sheets before laundry. And he was like, let's take the scenic way home. And it's evening. I'm totally fine with that. I'm like, okay, sure. We have our marinated pasta that is ready to be boiled, and then we'll eat that. So like, there's not much of a worry about making dinner. And he gets on the wrong. We're driving. Finally, get onto the freeway after we've taken our sweet time. Gets onto the wrong freeway, but I don't totally notice. Except I go, doesn't feel right. And he goes, I definitely got on the wrong one. We go another loop. We have another okay, well, it's just a scenic route. Gets on the freeway, a different freeway to get to where we're going. Takes the wrong freeway again, veers off into the other thing. But thank God he did that because Melissa, I found where we have to move. I found the most beautiful. As we were driving, it looked like Marin. It did not even look like LA. And I was like, is this a gated community? Are we allowed to be here? And he's like, no, there's no gates. When I tell you these homes, it's this little road. It's windy. It's like blanketed with trees on either side, full on archway. The homes, grab some binoculars to see past the giant fucking driveways.
Nice.
Silent.
Did you write down the street?
Gorgeous. Well, as soon as there was no cell service there too, which I was like, rich people. They're like, don't fucking steal my Wi-Fi. As soon as we got out of that little, we cleared the brush. I immediately went drop a pin, and then I went on Redfin and Zillow. And Mons goes, we have to live here. How much do you think these houses are? And I go, a casual 7 milli.
Why did you not send this to me immediately?
Because I needed to be next to you when we eat our lunch. And then I'm going to show you the pictures of these homes. It's going to be a little bit harder for me to find one that I want because, granted, hardly any are going on sale because it's a coveted area.
You probably got to get on one of the secret lists with the real estate agent.
Yeah. I'll have to just reach out to the Pizzagate Foundation, one of those things.
Okay.
Crazy. And just the area was so fucking cute. And then the other side of the street is we have to go back when it's light out because I was like, what was there? It wasn't other homes. It was the end of the earth. It wasn't a drop, but it was just what I assume were more trees and grass and greenery. And the whole thing, there's a whole hidden park and shit. It was just beautiful. And it was not a gated community.
Interesting.
And I love driving through expensive areas of LA. And I think a lot of people are like, oh, Bel Air, Beverly Hills, Brentwood. No. You have to go to the Palisades and Pasadena to see these gorgeous homes.
Well, all that to say, we say these are all fantasy worlds we're living in because we are not the Hollywood elite. We're not in the 1%.
And also if we afford these $7 million homes, we will also be building either a tunnel or some zip line system from your house to my house.
So we don't have to leave.
I think I love a zip line.
Do you?
Yeah.
What kind?
What kinds
the kind
are
you're
there?
holding on to or a ski lift?
I fucking hate a ski lift.
But you're fine holding on to.
Well, you're harnessed. We're not going purely monkey bar strength.
Okay.
I don't like the monkey bars. That was the first time I ever got the wind knocked out of me, and I fell into those wood chips, which I don't know why we had those. And I was like, I'm so sorry, Rebecca, my teacher. I'm going to die.
That was a time. In
What's
the
that?
90s, early 2000s, the wood, because they thought that it was absorbing heat, but it was just giving everybody splinters. They're like, it's cleaner than sand.
And more painful.
They hurt so bad.
And I have so many questions because California, my whole life, we've been raised fires, always having fires. Why would you surround
that? I didn't even think about that for you.
Children's school with kindling to set it aflame?
Yeah, that's true. Can I tell you about the greatest swings that ever existed?
Okay.
So when I lived in Texas at our school,
I feel like Texas would have good fucking parks.
We had swings. And I've never seen them anywhere else. I don't even know what to look up to find them. But they were orange and they were made out of metal. And they kind of like, you remember those like bouncy horses that people had? But imagine that, but just like metal with no like horse thing in it. And then they had handles on them where you could, instead of moving your legs, you would move the handles with your arms. And you would go like so high, like it was like a machine that you were using, and they would swing so high and they were so much fun. I've never seen them anywhere else. So if anybody that's listening knows what I'm talking about, I have not seen them since I was 9 years old. But like, do they continue to exist? And if so, where?
We need adult playgrounds.
100% agree.
We used to have a swing that was something like, it kind of was like a pendulum sort of thing. So instead of like a seesaw where there are two people on either side, it would be like the swings were coupled together. So you would go one direction, the other person would go the other direction, but it would be like in groups of two. And so you'd be like swinging like this. And so like it became like an activity to do with a friend. It was so, yeah, I love that shit.
The orangey things too. They also had like somebody could get in the back of it as well. So it was, there would be like single ones and then double ones.
Wow. God, I could go for a swing.
I could go for a swing too.
I had like a really janky old like swing set in my yard that was like I wanted a trampoline so goddamn fucking bad. First of all, if I jumped on a trampoline, the entire house, like my entire yard was surrounded by blackberry bushes. I would have gotten real cut up, worse than wood chips. And that just would have never been allowed. Also because it was on a hill. So like if you went, you had a far to fall. But I had this like old rickety little swing set. If you are someone who's like listening to this around young children, this is your opportunity to pause. I remember finding out that like Santa wasn't real, and also naturally it's me. So
who is listening? I guess we do have people that are parents.
People have kids.
Yeah.
So,
but why would you let your kids listen to this?
No, I know. So I said I gave them an opportunity. If it was like, yeah, I'm just gonna pause, especially in the background. If you heard the words like Santa, kids' ears might perk up. And actually, I think I figured out that the Easter Bunny wasn't real. And then I immediately did some deductive reasoning. And I said, so then therefore the tooth fairy is not real and Santa is not real. And I have this memory of me on my swing set. Like, it's as if I have like a bird's eye view of like me, like my little knees together on the swing set, like sad swinging.
Oh.
But now I need to get a swing set.
Yeah. You can get an adult swing.
See, but that's not what I want. And if like Mott's ever suggested, I'd be like, get your head out of the gutter. This is for I'm healing my inner child, you perv. I do guess we should probably introduce us and the show because we never did.
Thing.
Now that you know so much more about us, my name is Megan.
My name is Melissa.
And together we are a candy-coated chocolate treat. And we are also a rapper who Mott's gave me like a life story of Eminem last night because I was like asking some random questions.
Have you never seen 8 Mile?
No.
Well,
this is Don't Blame Me, where we give you wonderful, amazing, life-changing advice. And we answer your voicemails and we listen to your voice memos. But we only have 2 calls and we want to shoot the shit. So
we're going to do that.
We're going to shoot the shit and then we'll get into like how you call and all of that stuff before that. But
I do want to acknowledge that, you know, WGA has been, the writer's strike has been going on.
I forget this comes out first.
Yeah. Now we're on, you're specifically on together.
We see each
we're
other.
Together.
We're both on strike.
Yay!
So touched hands, everybody.
SAG-AFTRA is also on strike. There's also a lot of rules as a producer that I have to follow too. Yeah. So I'm basically like double strike.
Dude.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that you're organized and put together mentally because I'm struggling.
I had to. I literally spent all Saturday reading all the rules and regulations because there's things that I have going on both under podcasts. There's a lot of rules for podcasting, and then there's a lot of rules for other forms of media as well that I had been working on. And now some stuff with the podcasts have gotten canceled. We can't talk, we usually talk a lot about like pop culture and things. We can't talk about anything under a strike company. Yeah. So we usually talk about
what we're watching.
We can't talk about what we're watching unless it's reality TV or soap operas.
Yeah. So Melissa was like, perfect opportunity for you to get into soaps. I'm like, okay.
But we could talk about Housewives if we wanted to. To talk about Love Island if we wanted to. But but just out of solidarity for everything.
Yeah. It's hard, but it's even harder if we don't, you know what I mean? Like certain things. So maybe we will talk about that kind of stuff if we are, if I suddenly start watching a soap opera, maybe that'll be what we do talk about, but it's brutal.
Yeah. But I also think because WGA is also striking and that is under the soap opera stuff, that it might also be frowned upon too. But I've seen other soap writers talking about soaps, but they are striking for the most part, except for the ones that went FICOR. But the actors for soap operas are under a different. Yeah, they're in SAG, but it's under a different. It's not under the they're under daytime TV as opposed to TV theatrical. So it's different, and they renegotiated their contracts last year. So we do talk a lot about that stuff. We've done full episodes of our other podcasts about some things, and we will not be doing that as long as the strike is going on and demands are not met.
Which I will be talking about it in this week's episode of But Am I Wrong? When you hear our demands, it's
the minimal.
They're
literally
the
minimal.
That people are like, wait, that's not a thing already? And I go, no, and they're willing to just not in order to whatever they think their long game plan is.
Yeah. Literally asking for minimals in both of them. Not even not big things. Nothing that's going to make anybody a millionaire.
No, actors are not asking for a livable wage.
No.
That's never been the thing. It's most SAG actors, 95% of SAG actors do not make a living acting, but it's a matter of not spending money and not even breaking even or recouping it.
Yeah. So there's that. So
yeah.
The show's gonna be a little different for a while.
And if you hear any weird cuts, it's because we accidentally
slipped up, but we stand in solidarity, and we won't be doing it.
No, because no one is fucking coming for my health insurance.
Yeah.
I'm so fucking afraid I'm accidentally gonna.
You'll be okay.
Anyways, so what did you get up to this weekend?
I explored our beautiful city on scenic routes. My cousin gave me these sunglasses that they're really cute. They're pink sunglasses, but the lenses have a slight pink twinge to them. And some streets, for some reason, are pink when I'm in them. So it's a delight. I've noticed that it's some newer paved things, but it also depends on how the sun hits it, and buildings too. And so it's like a little treat while I'm driving is that there's a little pink twinge to some things.
Like a non-threatening visual shrooms effect.
Yes.
That's so fun.
I was driving through the hills on Saturday. And once I got around the curve by where AFI is, the whole street was pink.
That's
and
so
then
nice.
It switched again. But as I'm driving, things turn pink, and it's cute.
Wow.
So that brings, it's a small thing to bring you a little joy.
Yeah. That's adorable. I want to do that. I was obsessed with, I don't know if you remember, so 3D movies were.
Is it a specific thing?
No.
Okay. You can talk about it.
So you know how there used to be, the only 3D glasses I ever remember are the plastic ones, but I know the paper ones were a thing. By the way, I recently discovered that 3D movies have existed for a very long time.
Yeah. Before we were born.
Melissa, when I tell you that blew my fucking mind. So when it was kind of when you would go to a concert and you would keep the wristband on or something like that. Kids at my school, if you went to a 3D movie, you would punch out the lenses and wear them to school, of the plastic ones. Yeah.
Interesting.
A lot of the things we did were interesting, to say the least. Oh, I told you this before. I was hanging out with my nephew yesterday, and I was showing him songs, and we, go back and forth. He's very into 20 Trucks right now. First of all, there's one 20 Trucks song.
What is 20 Trucks?
It's like a blippy kind of style, like children's music, and they have like a video thing that accompanies it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're a parent or you're someone who hangs out with like a young child family member, you're a daycare worker or something, if you know, there's one fucking 20 Truck song. When I tell you, it is so spooky. It's the spookiest song I've ever heard. I go, this song has bad vibes. Apparently the video he can't watch because it's also spooky, and his mom was talking about it. I go, I know exactly what's your song you're talking about because he showed me it. But anyways, when it was my turn to play a song, I picked Party Rock Anthem by LMFAO. And we're dancing, and he just looks at me and he goes, a party for rocks? And I was like, exactly. So I also played him Telephone by Lady Gaga and Beyonce, and he loved it, doing the little telephone finger. But if anyone has any suggestions of other songs that
About
conceptually have like an object or something in it that a 3, almost 4-year-old would know. So Fast Car has been one that I've gotten him into. We've done Getaway Car. He loves a car, but I'm trying to find ones like that so I can get him into it. He also loves Watermelon Sugar, but he pretended he didn't know it. And I was like, my guy, we've been playing this fucking song since you were a baby. And you love this song. And he was like, I don't know if I know this song. And I was like, you do know this song. And he plays. He goes, no, I know this song. And I go, I know, you were lying. Oh, and then I taught him. And I was like, do you know what we say when our favorite song comes on? And he was like, no, what do we say? And we go, this is my jam. And so then he goes, this is my jam. And then I made his dad go in the room and he did it. He was dying. And then I go, and when it's one of a song we really like, but it's not our favorite song, we go, that's a bop. And so then he would go, that's a bop.
Aww.
My favorite thing ever is just like getting him to say things. Like one of my ultimate ones was I would just talk in a British accent, like, and saying like, oh, London baby. And then he goes, London baby. And it's just fucking adorable.
I love it.
I'm obsessed.
But yeah, me and my niece, who's weeks younger than him, like 2 weeks, I think. She's not into anything that you just said, but she loves like comics and things like that. But she's also into this thing of like, she hated talking to me on FaceTime.
Oh.
Like she just doesn't like FaceTime. But then when I start doing weird voices, she's drawn to it now. And so now I have to talk to her. Like she runs over so I can do my weird voices. And also we pretend like we're like biting each other, and she loves it and go.
That's so fucking cute. Oh my God. I love when they get into just like random things. He's also has never, ever like read any of the comics or anything. He had one shirt on, and his parents also don't know any of this. And so a lot of it's like hand-me-downs. So he's never read any of the comics. His parents are not into comics, and he has a shirt with like all of the characters from the Avengers in the comics. And they were like, could not even name who they were. And they were like, oh, well, maybe when Uncle Mott's and Aunt Megan come over, like they might know. And naturally, I was like, step aside.
I got this.
And I like pointed them all out. And then he got, he's now in his comic book era, which again, he's in his comic book outfit era, not the entity of the comic books. And then he got a Batman one, and it had all of the villains on it, and was asking his mom, like, what are their names? And she was like, oh, I don't know. And he goes, that's okay. Aunt Megan will know.
I think I might write a graphic novel.
I had a graphic novel era of like, that's what I love to read. It? It'd be so fun. Yeah.
I know.
Well, depending on like what kind of style you're going for. If it like matches like I need to be like my artistic integrity.
Anyway.
You know? Postmodern, Renaissance, Cubism, Impressionism is kind of like my niche.
Impressionism?
I'm sorry, yeah, okay. Cubism didn't get the laugh?
No. I could see Cubism
is so
part
fucking
of it.
I'm obsessed. It's so fucking weird.
Yeah, I could see that but Impressionism, no.
No. It's like, it's a mix of them all, you know?
All right, let's take a break.
Okay.
As a podcast network, our first priority has always been audio and the stories we're able to share with you. But at Realm, we also sell some pretty cool merch, and organizing that was made both possible and easy with Shopify. When you think about successful businesses like Aloe or Allbirds or Skims, an often overlooked secret is the business behind the business that makes selling and, for shoppers, buying simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. That's because nobody does selling better than Shopify. It's the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. And the not-so-secret secret that's definitely worth talking about is that Shop Pay boosts conversions up to 50%. That's more happy customers and way more sales going. If you're hoping to grow your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling, on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more, sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout we use with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/realm, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/realm to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/realm.
We're back.
I should take this moment to promote our Patreon because we're looking stunning. Specifically, this blue on you.
Thank you.
I'm obsessed.
Thank you.
With your storm hair. Look at you. You would be a rainbow. Storm, sunshine, and flowers. Anyways, I should tell people
what the show is.
How the calls work. So we're going to listen to some of your voicemails and voice memos. I'm so sorry I've been ignoring you, video. If you've been looking,
I've been looking at you.
So if you want to call in for an upcoming episode, you can leave us a voicemail at 310-694-0976, or international listeners, you can send us an audio message at meganpodcast@gmail.com. So same requirements for both voicemails and voice memos. You have to be 18 or over, have your parents' permission. We do ask that you let us know your ages. If it's someone else who's involved in what you're telling us, include their ages. It's all anonymous, so use fake names or just use fake names. And you only have 3 minutes from the time that you hear the beep. And that might sound stressful, but it doesn't have to be stressful. You just write everything down before you call. Write everything down you want to say. Pull out the timer on your phone or an hourglass and time it out. Practice it a few times. Make sure you're under that. You include all of the relevant information because we can only give you advice based on the information that you give us. So having the stuff that's like the most crucial and important that drives the plot forward, that's how we can give you the best advice. And then finally, just read it on the voicemail or in the voice memo. Then Bob's your uncle, which what the fuck does that, where did that come from?
I don't know. Would you like me to look it up?
I'll look it up later.
Okay. So we're going to have a little chat after, this.
We're sandwiching you with social time.
Yeah, but the next one will be kind of like a look to the future.
What? I thought you meant it was something we already recorded in the future.
No.
Okay.
We're gonna
talk about our relationship and where we see this going.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah. We need to talk.
Shall we get into call number 1?
Yes, give some advice.
Hi, Megan. Hi, Melissa. I'm calling to ask for help on how to manage fitting into workplace culture. So for a little bit of background, I right now am a healthcare student on my 3rd rotation of fieldwork / clinicals. And right now I am at a site for 8 weeks. And, I'm working here full time, and we were having lunch today, and we were just having regular lunchroom conversations with coworkers. And we started talking about Taylor Swift because one of the other people that worked at the site went to the Taylor Swift concert. And someone asked, what's the big deal about her? What songs does she sing? Why is she known for being famous? All of these things. And I was explaining things, and I asked what their favorite or who their favorite artist was to try and make common ground about, I listen to this person, to relate to music because music is very relatable. And they answered that their favorite artist is Kanye. And I instinctually didn't even think about it, didn't have time to filter myself, say the person who said slavery was a choice. And they say that Kanye's wording was wrong, but they agree that slavery was a choice, that people could either go into slavery or they could die. And I was appalled by that statement. And after that, he tried to justify it by saying people who were celebrities who were really great at their field, but then did terrible things off or out of their line of work, like get a pass for their actions because they're great. And so I want to know, as a student who's only there for 8 weeks, how do I navigate this environment after an interaction like this? Thank you so much. Love the podcast as always, and you guys are the best. Bye.
Well, you report him. I think you report him because he's this person's going to be working in healthcare. And I don't think that is, bigotry is not like a difference in opinion when you are taking care of people.
But I don't think they were saying it as bigotry, though. This is what I think that this is what they meant, is that Kanye was saying that they either had to go into slavery or they would die. And that was their choice, is that they chose the lesser of the two, because that's why they said that. And then if that is the case, then it's not bigotry. Because they said
like a loophole.
Yeah, it's a loophole because they said Kanye's words were taken out of context. And that's how
I agree with
that's how
he said, but this is the context
this is how I interpreted it.
It's like they're evolving and getting smarter.
Yeah.
Because no, you're right. Because my instinct is to say report this person because this doesn't, that's not okay thing to say, but.
Mm-hmm. It used to be complicated, but not anymore. Complicated thoughts about Kanye West.
Yeah. A lot of people did.
I love his High School Dropout album is one of my favorites.
Mm-hmm.
It's great. And there were things that I would excuse until the point where I could not excuse anymore. And it started with the slavery as a choice thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard when you start looking at a lot of musicians, who they are behind closed doors. Most of them suck.
Yep.
And it is hard where it's if you look at most people, and I used to be a firm line of I cannot separate art from the artist. And now the more that I learn about most people, I'm most of these people suck. And if I continue to do that, there's no art left.
Yeah.
And it's a catch-22. And I think you just kind of have to figure out where your lines for this are. I am I do not listen to Kanye anymore.
Yeah.
There are some other people that I know that they've done terrible things and I still listen to their music and enjoy their music. But if you look, for example, you look at most rock stars from 70s, 80s, 90s that people exalt as the greats. Most of them had relationships with underage girls.
Mm-hmm.
And you take away most music when you look at that. And it's just hard.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think navigating this is going to be, you just have to separate people. You've got to do it the same way that you've got to you were talking about Taylor Swift. She's done some things that are not great.
Yeah.
And there's a line that you probably have for her that you're if she were ever to cross this line, then I'm out. But she's kind of toed some of them.
Mm-hmm.
And so where's your line? And I think if you're working with people, going to school with people, you just have to separate them, not get to know people.
Yeah.
And just take them for who they are in a professional sense. And that's it.
Yeah, I agree. I was going to say, I think you need to categorize people.
Mm-hmm.
So I have hard lines so I'm not going to watch something that is currently making money if you have been abusive. I'm not going to do that.
Yep.
If it's something that someone who worked in behind the scenes later on, years later, a piece of work that is very old, I don't know, not very 30 years old or something that I've watched prior, I've already seen something comes out finding out that someone who was a behind the scenes person of that was awful. If I like the thing, I might watch it again. Mm-hmm. I'm not paying money to go see that thing ever again. And I'm not going to actively seek it out if I didn't love it that much that first time. The thing that I will never do, I will never defend or justify something that I am listening, if it's specific music that I'm listening to, of being oh, well, this is why I could still listen to it, other than I don't want to know about their personal shit because I don't fucking like it. And I might disagree with how some people's takes on certain things. I mean, I've talked about it on here. I think I talked about it on it, but am I wrong? And I've talked about my Instagram. Like, I don't agree with Matty Healy and the shit that he's done. I do believe that what he thinks he's trying to do is a good and progressive and political thing. And I truly believe even if you don't intend to be a bigot, you can still be a bigot. I don't think he's seeking out doing that behavior. I think he is a white man who is accidentally being a bigot, thinking that he's not. But I'm never going to defend it in the sense that I'm like, no, you misunderstood what he said. Because I'm like, whatever his intentions were behind it, like the result and the outcome is the same. And how people feel about it is what matters. And like, it's not okay.
I know nothing about this man other than when this stuff came out. And so to me, he's just a bigot.
Exactly. And so like, that's one of those things that I'm like, this is someone who like, the music, following someone as a person, no. Zero desire to know anything about this person at all. Old music that I grew up listening to that I've totally loved, still really love that music. Like, that doesn't change. Am I going to be like actively paying money for it? No. Do I hope that this person changes their ways? Without a doubt. But if I then defend behavior that I also do not agree with, but I can like, whatever you're like looking past or ignoring, I'm never going to defend it because my hope is that everyone will just do better. But if I defend it, then I've justified it. And I'm not separating the art from the artist if I'm defending it.
Right.
And that's how I feel about your classmate is you cannot use the argument defending the art from the artist when then you justify what they said and what they did. So that to me is not separating the art from the artist. So I would put him in a category of like, this is someone who like, I don't fuck with unless we are assigned on a project together. And this is someone who like, I do not engage in conversation with. We're in a group of people. I'm going to be talking to the other people. If he's around and he's there, I don't feel an obligation to be cordial. I don't have an obligation to like ask how their weekend was. Or maybe you do feel like that's what you would make you feel more comfortable in like having those social interactions. So to me, some people just like show their hand and I go, cool, know which box to put you in. But the question I would follow up with for you, caller, is who are you close with in this class and what is their response to that? What was their reaction to that? Because this doesn't seem like this is a person who you're really close to, but like people you were close to in your class, those are more important boxes and more important people to put in different boxes. So, I would hope that you have someone who you can be like, afterwards they can turn to when like he walks away being like, oh my God, I fucking hate that guy. Like that was like literally, you know what I mean? So like knowing where you stand in your relationships with other people, because he's not important at all, but not letting that interaction be like, oh, I can't be friendly with anyone.
But outside of class too, there's going to be people that you work with and also people that you care for that you're not going to agree with. And so this right now is the perfect time for you to just like learn that like you have to separate your professional life from like your personal feelings too.
Yeah.
Especially, and I'm knowing where you live, especially where you live, you're going to have to do this a lot.
Yeah. And like, it's a great exercise in redirection. And I say this as somebody whose grandmother got Lou Gehrig's disease and she turned into a person who said horrifically horrible things. And I was a kid and I just remember like, oh, the goal, it was always, we're redirecting. We're redirecting this. And so it's like, there are things that people can say or do. And especially in a line of work that involves a healthcare line of work, people go through different things and it's redirection for, the well-being and like the best outcome for the people you're caring for, but also for your own sanity.
Right.
So that just is, you would think, like that, and I could understand the disappointment. It's like thinking like music to me would be like this is not a hot topic that is going to be like wildly controversial necessarily. So it can be a little jarring that you didn't, it's not like you presented a controversial question,
Yeah.
He also needs to learn how to
shut up,
read a room.
Yeah.
Like people should get embarrassed more. Do you know what I mean? Like we should all have a little more shame. Like, well, we hope that was helpful. On to the next.
Hi, Meghan and Melisa. I'm 24, she, her, and my boyfriend is 30, he, him. First, here's some background about our relationship. We met in August 2020, almost 3 years ago in college, both as undergrads. He went back for his bachelor's after a lot of anxiety and trying to figure out what he wanted to do. He was super anxious about being older in college, so he lied about his age to everyone at college, including me, until about 4 months into dating. We had a rocky relationship over the past 2.5 years. He wasn't sure what he wanted, wasn't sure if he loved me, and would distance himself emotionally from me. We broke up, I think, 3 times in the first year. Each breakup would last about a week, and then he would come back saying he's made a mistake. In January 2022, we broke up again, and I said that it was final. He ended up begging, and a month later, we got back together. I fell back in love with him in April 2022. Now, we've been long distance since last summer because I moved to Boston for grad school, and I like the area for my field. I've been working full-time while going to grad school, and he moved back home with his parents because he still had one online class to finish and to take his licensing exam. His initial plan was to get an assistant job for about 6 months until he got his license and then look for a full-time job most likely near me. When he went in for the interview, they ended up offering him a full-time position in his field. He took the full-time position to get experience while finishing his degree and signed a lease to get out of his parents' house. We live over 4 hours away, and it's usually more with traffic. Last month, I went to Europe with my family for 2 weeks, so we didn't end up getting to talk on the phone every day like we usually do because of international phone plans and time zones. He hasn't been doing super well mentally, so I made the drive the weekend after I came back. He ended up casually mentioning that a girl at the bar kissed him when he was talking about how it's super hard to make friends and people at bars just want to hook up. He instantly saw that it hurt me and explained how he instantly pushed her away and how she was super blocked out and came out of nowhere. I know he goes to bars sometimes, but that's because there's not much else for him to do in his area, and I don't want to be controlling or tell him how to live his life. I also asked why he didn't tell me right away because he wasn't sure why. He said he never should have said anything, and I reminded him again that I'd much rather he be open and honest with me about everything right when things happen rather than lying or not telling me the full story. It's been about a week now since he mentioned this, and I'm not really sure what to do moving forward. I love him a lot, but it hurts so bad to think about him getting kissed by someone else. And then thinking it would be better not to say anything to me at all. And we've talked about it in the past, how I really think that not saying the full story is similar to lying, which I hate so much. Love you both so much. I'm not sure what to do. And I've been listening since before season 1, before Melissa. Thank you. Bye.
I got caught up on the fact that he lied about his age when you were 21 years old when you started dating him.
I got caught up as soon as you said, I'm 24, he's 30. We started dating 3 years ago in college. Yeah. And I went, no.
But he was lying about his age.
Yep. And we got to that and I was like, already out. I'm farther out. Like I am miles away from this camp.
Me too.
I am I've taken an international flight. Uh-huh. I am on an iceberg with penguins and they're saying, I'm taking you to the farthest place on earth. I'm not even in the dugout in this camp of yours.
He lied to everybody at the school because he was embarrassed for his age. I don't know. I feel like it's like there's no set age for college. That tells me that he was doing things that he shouldn't have been doing.
Yep.
He didn't want 18-year-olds to know how old he was.
If this man had shame about his age in the sense of like, I should be more accomplished where I am, he moved back in with his parents afterwards. Mm-hmm. So he's not so shameful or so feeling so bad about like where he is in life that he's not going to, not that I think he should think that's the right move, but I'm just saying like if the character assessment is the reason why he did that was because he did not feel like he was supposed to be where he was supposed to be at that age, there's no living up to that.
But that also tells me that he was doing like typical college age things and not just going to class and going home. He was going out to like events and parties and things with people that he should not have been partying with.
Yeah, like if you're going to lie about your age, be like, oh, I really like, I should be like farther, all of that kind of stuff. If it's, I should be farther along in my life, then he should have been an apartment that he's racking up debt for because he's like, I have to fit in with my peers. But instead of that, it's, I can't fit in with my peers, so then I'm going to lie about my age. That doesn't make sense.
I'm disgusted.
That doesn't make any sense.
I'm so disgusted.
That's not what you do. This man. You do not, if you do not fit in with if you're not where your peers are in life, You pretend to be where your peers are. You don't lie and say you're younger.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's not, and I'm friends with a lot of straight men. And this is an issue with, I mean, it's an issue with women as well, but like it's specifically an issue with this like macho manly culture of like, oh, well, like, you know, getting the promotion, getting the girl, like having the fan, whatever it is. Like there is this set idea of being a man and a provider and all of that stuff. And the amount of people who will just go through the motions, even if I know people on fucking, especially in LA, on like minimal assistant salaries who like were just racking up to keep up with that. That's what you don't go down, because to me, where is his friends?
Right.
Because people would call him out and would be like, what the fuck are you doing?
Right.
Like that would be embarrassing to his peers, but it's because he does not align with his peers. And he's specifically trying to be younger because he wants to assimilate with younger people, which is hooking up with younger people.
And I cannot imagine myself 27 years old just hanging out with college kids. Like even with like our age gap, when I would not have been hanging out with you at that age. Like that doesn't make sense. We did not become friends until like
and life
experience.
That's the difference. Because I'm like, I left college early. And so like I'm friends with a lot of people who are older than me. And like we met because we were in the same life stage. And we met through work and those things. And it's also because my social life matched up with my professional life. Like I was at the same place socially as a lot of other people who are older like me. That like, and also I'm not saying that as a good thing. Like growing up too fast is not a good thing. But I can acknowledge that like that's why I did that. But I did not make myself hanging out with some younger. And 4 months into a relationship to admit that is so icky. I'm assuming you've already slept together or at least like had some sort of physical intimacy at that point. And like I do not think specifically physical intimacy is okay if you are withholding information from me that you think might change my mind, that I'm going to participate in it.
Not just physical, any type of intimacy.
Totally. But like there's just something about that feels like, well, I already got it.
Yeah.
And it's like, ew. Like if you thought there was something that was going to make me not want to be with you and you're withholding that information from me, you're removing my agency. And I can't stand that, because he also does not know that if he met you and introduced himself as like, hi, I'm 27, that you would have been like, oh no, I'm not interested.
Right. He waited until you were already emotionally invested in this to tell you. And that is messed up.
Especially because men already know at 27 that they can make themselves enticing to people in their late teens, early 20s without they don't have to lie about their age. Like they can do that. It's like, to me, that makes it like now you're going after 18-year-olds, right? Because it's even younger. So I'm just going to say right now, like there's not a green flag in sight. This entire thing is riddled with red flags. And the reason why you're at this crossroads that you're at now is not like a miscommunication. It's like, this is the wrong dude. Like this is him. This is the wrong dude. And like, there's no shame in, we've all dated the wrong dude. We've all been with the wrong dude. We've all dated and gotten back together with, like, we've all been there. It's at this point, maybe even considered a rite of passage, but you can't make the wrong dude the right dude.
Right.
So there's no amount of communication. There's no amount of effort put in on your end that makes up for the difference. And there is no, if you saw the potential in him and the other thing that I think in this, it's like you've seen the improvement. But when you start as a gutter rat, a small up into a musty opossum is an improvement. Like when you're starting from like, this man lied about it, like you can only go up from there, but you're never going to like reach a level of relationship, like respect and honesty, and be in a place where it's just good. Right. Like you've had to work for so long at this. And I also would not call these like wasted years or anything. But like even the fact that you said you had your final breakup in January 2022 and you got back together a month later, all the previous breakups have been a week. And you said by April, you were fully in love with him. So you're back together in February and you agreed to get back together and you weren't even in love with him until 2 months after that.
Mm-hmm. Wrong person.
And like, you are in the best situation. He's got a new job. He signed a lease in the city you don't live in. And you are loving the city you're in. That's where you're going to grad school. And that's where you like want to start your professional life. This is the cleanest break you could have.
Mm-hmm.
So like, just break up, end it. I promise you, your experience in grad school and your experience just starting your professional life is going to be so much better, because this is also the kind of guy, if you did this to him, it would not be I shouldn't have told. No.
Mm-hmm.
This is an emotionally immature man who will continue to do this. And also just casually bringing up in conversation, like, it's really hard to meet people. I will also say, I, as someone who does not drink alcohol, who has quit drinking alcohol, I do not like the vibes of someone going to a bar by themselves to meet people. That to me is just not a energy I am cool with when this person has lied about their age to meet younger
it's the
people.
Age thing. It's
so
the
like
age thing that just
if you told me someone else who does that and then they made friends and it was like, oh, I went to go, they were like playing a sports game or they had a trivia night or something and I went to the bar and I made some friends. But someone who is not making friends but just keeps going to a bar by themselves as their social activity by themselves but is not making friends there, I don't want to like say something that will upset you, but like, so turn this off if you're not ready to hear it. But like, yes, making friends is hard. Making drinking buddies is not that hard.
Mm-mm.
If he is going to a bar at least once a week and he is not making any friends, it's because he is hitting on women.
That's true.
He's not there to actually try and make friends. Like, Mats goes and golfs. He he meets new people. He literally golfs with people. He like meets them golfing. They get randomly paired up and he like texts them and they like go golfing all the time. Like and that's not a drinking activity.
Right.
So like,
there's a lot of activities you can do that aren't bars.
If you're going back to the same bars and you're not making any friends there, why do you keep going?
Yeah, that's true.
So like, I just none of this adds up to me. And again, if this is something he did not want to tell you, casually being like, yeah, it was really hard to make friends. Like some girl just kissed me. He wanted to tell you and not because he felt guilty.
And why is he like talking to a girl about hooking up at a bar that's drunk and he's saying, oh, she was blackout drunk. Then why were you talking to her?
And he's telling you this because he's not guilty. He's telling you this to gauge your response for how much he has to hide and how comfortable he can get.
And seeing how riled up you get too.
And if you'll stay and how far he can push it. Because people who do bad things, some people do them because there's a lot of self-loathing and they don't want to get caught. Some people do them because they like to piss other people off or
some people like to feel desirable.
Or they like to piss you off and then they like to win you back. Sorry. To me, this guy screams someone who wants the ego boost of fucking you over and winning you back. Because every single time he wins you back, he knows that he's got to go bigger after when to break your trust again. And he usually doesn't even have to work as hard. It just becomes, you're going to stay. Like, you're going to stick it out through this shit. And he's waving the red flags himself in front of your face.
Yeah.
So, just get out. And like, I do not fault you at all for going through all of this. And like, it doesn't mean that you are like, have a destined to have a bad picker, but like you picked one guy who's not the guy and you can't make him the right guy. And I say this as someone who picked a lot of duds.
Yeah. Yeah.
You need a big break from dating.
Well, good luck and get out.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to take another break and then we'll be back.
Contained herein are the heresies of Radolf Buntwine, erstwhile monk turned traveling medical investigator. Join me as I study the secrets of the divine plagues and uncover the blasphemous truth that ours is not a loving God, and we are not its favored children. The heresies of Radolf Buntwine, wherever podcasts are available.
All right, we're back.
Let's talk about the future of the show.
Let's talk about the state. It's the State of the Union.
You never read the ClickBooks, did you?
No.
Oh God, it was at the end, like every day, like in her diary, she would like State of the Union, like in, shrugs, out, caprice. That was great. So we're going to mix up the show. We're going to figure it out how we want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote down some notes. This is my first time I'm sharing with Melissa, and also the first time I'm reading this back. So who knows what I even said.
Were you in a dream state when you were doing this?
Maybe.
Okay. But just before you start reading those, we've been getting less and less calls. I think one thing is that, like, we don't really advertise the show either. So no new friends. But we are in a moment right now when we are inviting new friends in.
We'll let you sit with us.
Yeah. So, maybe we should start promoting
TikToks. Yeah, that's a good call. I also think that I do look at our audience as is. I go, I'm happy for a lot of you not having problems happening, like stuff happening in your life. Like I'm seeing the growth and the evolution, but I think we'll continue to start to get back on advertising. But I think, we talked about this before. So I was thinking like something to kind of like keep in the same theme is gossip that other people have heard that I've heard something or whatever, leading us to essentially what would you do / hypotheticals in an advice circumstance. But what I thought would be funny is doing it in a sense of like under the guise of like asking for a friend. So maybe you're not calling in or asking about it for a specific friend, but along the lines of like, wow, what would I do if I was like in this situation? And in like an asking for a friend way, because we know that there are people who want to call in to the podcast, but sometimes like the details or they feel like it's really revealing about who they are, especially if they have friends who've listened, which we love when you recommend us to the friends. So something along the lines of like changing a bit of the information and saying, oh, it's not about me. What would you do about this? Because if someone called us in now and was like, oh, this is what someone else is going through, we'd be like, no, it's your own advice.
Or, like if you were saying it was something like in the world. I have a friend who is with someone and they have a baby together, but she went to a concert and he didn't like what she was wearing. And I don't know like how to be like that kind of thing.
Yeah. So something that it opens up that like bigger conversation. It doesn't have to be like, would you still love me if I was a worm? Which is like, some of my favorite open-ended questions to ask. No, but like, so along the lines of like, okay, what would I do in this? Or how would I feel about it? And in that sense, because I think we, when we don't have to have someone exactly tied to it, it's a good thought starter. Because also a lot of people will talk about certain things happen in their life that then they go, oh, that reminds me of this podcast episode. And now we can just keep them in our arsenal. And then I was thinking we could start doing, we did for not like a lot, but like themed kind of shows under like a broader umbrella of something where it's like back to school, like something along.
Yeah,
like,
we've done back to school ones but again, our audience isn't as young as it used to be.
Yeah.
But, that might bring in new listeners. We've done, when we have Mott's on every year, we do the Valentine's Day relationship ones. We've done just sex only.
Yeah, but like if we picked something that was like slightly more niche and if we broadened so like not about calling in necessarily about like personal things, but it's like something about furries or like something like very, very niche. And it's like, does anyone have any any stories about this or any like gossip you've heard? Whereas like it can be like through the grapevine. So it goes game of telephone. Like I have no idea if this is fucking true, but I heard this. Like I remember I'm in middle school. I heard about this girl who would masturbate with a popsicle. And like now that I'm older, I'm like,
no,
I don't think that happened because like so sticky, yeast infection. She could have put it
in a condom and did it, but it was very cold.
Those kinds of things. And like thinking about like, I love what like I ask moms all the time. I'm like, do you remember like what some like the like scandal, like high school things that like you talk and like talking about them with like a different lens is like, wow, that's like so it's interesting and it's funny and it's like a low stakes kind of hot gossip sort of a thing.
Yeah. I remember there was one at my school where this girl that was on my cheer squad with me, people were saying she was having sex on a motorcycle. And I was like, how?
Whose motorcycle?
But how?
Yeah.
Like literally a motorcycle will
in a
fall
garage?
over. Is it a 4-wheeler? Like a 4-wheeler in a garage, I could see that.
Yeah,
but a motorcycle, you're
garage.
gonna fall over.
You're gonna break something. Yeah, so like stuff like that, I think is, especially if we do themed things, like if other people anyone have any stories about this, and this, and we can also always lead those into, okay, so if this was us, like what would we do in this situation, and what would we say to do? I was also thinking for themed episodes, we could do a character in an entity is going through something, or a choice or something.
Like a book.
Yeah. And then we could use that as a jumping off point for, things that we would say to that, to give them advice or whatever, or things that they relate, like that would relate to other things that either we have gone through something like it, or callers to give kind of a. And also, even if it's like, and then if it's something that's like kind of old and like not telling us the outcome, and us saying and giving the advice that we would tell you to do at that time, and then calling back and being like, okay, this is what I did.
I was thinking about that one book that we mentioned on.
So I don't have experience with quadruple penetration.
Yeah. But what was that girl's occupation? A mob princess? What was she?
I don't know, but I like that.
Weren't they like protecting her? She had like a bodyguard.
Yeah. Which again, I wonder what the salary is like for a full-time bodyguard.
That's why when you're also like, if you're a mob princess, it's a lot.
But who's paying the mob? Does the mob have like a
the mob takes care of
their own,
everybody else in the community, and so everybody pays a little fee.
Okay.
And so that's
like
how
a monthly?
The protection. Yeah. You pay for protection. So they make money. They also usually are like running guns and drugs and things like that too.
Gotta keep the lights on.
Yeah.
Do what you gotta do. Mob how you gotta mob. And then the last one is something that we've talked about forever, which is asking professionals for advice on things we know absolutely nothing about. And I don't think it has to be like therapy.
No.
But like certain things, and whether that leads into like themed episodes for like what other people are calling in about or writing in about.
Yeah.
But like, I also wonder.
I was gonna say, we used to when we were doing those bonus episodes for Stitcher, then we would have some experts on. And one time we had a woman on that makes sex toys, and it was a great episode. But a lot of people, we actually need to find that and bring it out.
Facts.
There's probably like some things in our vault that we should bring out, and probably need to listen to them first. But yeah.
Some people have definitely been canceled since.
But that was a great episode. I really enjoyed that.
I was gonna ask like about, what do you think about opening up to not just being calls?
Yeah, I'm fine with that, because I think people will be more open to sending DMs and things.
Yeah. So we've like historically been like emails only, and like we've opened it up on DMs in like time crunches for But Am I Wrong and stuff, and that's like a very easy medium for that. So like I think like obviously still people being able to call, being able to,
you can send us voice memos in your messages, but like if you DM'd us, you can send us a voice thing. Make sure you click the thing where it's like keep in chat so that it doesn't go away.
So we're open to like all of that and kind of expanding it to like make it easier, and also those formats of like if people want to be more anonymous about certain things, and so people from like their life don't know, because like we've said and people have done before, like a voice changing app, but especially writing it down and like, I mean, sending it in like a DM or an email, I think opens up for some of that stuff. And I think, and this is like, I like got this idea when we were doing one of our last Patreon live streams, where it's like, if there is like information you need to change for privacy, but it is crucial in like that, like we know, so the advice that we're giving is not going to like, an audience wouldn't be like, well, why would you give this advice or whatever? But like, if you're like, no, I know it would definitely factor into it, being able to like sidebar it to us and like sending a follow-up, like, just so you know, this is this, but I'm going to switch it to this or something like that. And then, this, I can discover, maybe I'm thinking that this is giving me the vibes that this might mean this. And then it goes, oh my God, that person didn't say it. So clearly they didn't rat anyone out, but like, we just came to this conclusion or this like this concept on our own that does change the advice. So those are all of my ideas that I wrote down.
Those are great ideas.
Thank you. Yeah, because I also think like what would you do circumstance and situation if we had even other times if we had like said what it was going to be for the like upcoming episode ahead of time, us being able to have our own like what we would be doing in that situation. And then other people like submitting it or writing it or calling in or saying what they would do. And I also think, especially if we did people who it was like their own stories or their own lives and it was not like this had happened way prior, then either in like the next episode or at the very end of the episode, we have them send in like, oh no, this is what I ended like, this is what I did. And so it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting to see like how we all would have gotten there.
Great.
You know?
Great.
And it can be kind of like The Voice isn't SAG because it's reality, and the writing would be song.
What?
The Voice, the TV show The Voice.
Oh.
Right?
Yes. Okay. I thought you meant the voices inside. You said the voices inside, and I was like,
you're like, girl, are you okay?
Yeah.
Let's do Coco's pot stickers. No, I was going to say, and then we could have an ongoing feud and we could be like the voice coaches who are like, they've got wins.
Yeah, they're usually fucking.
All of them?
I just feel like
just Blake Shelton.
I know.
And Gwen
that's what
Stefani.
I'm talking about. But if him and Adam Levine give me fucking energy.
Oh, you are not alone in that sentiment. I promise you there is fanfic.
Yeah. There's a lot of sexual tension there. Those are great ideas. Good job, Megan.
Thank you.
I also think we should open it up to having guests on again.
Oh, I'm so down.
But we're very specific about who the guests are. So like share people with us that you think match our vibe. They may not be on right away. We might have to do some digging, you know, and make sure that we actually like them. But send us some ideas too. We have a whole list of people that we were always like, let's have this person on.
Literally some of the people who we had. The person who was the top of our list, after I wrote that list, we became mutuals. After that, you had a meeting with them. After that, then I became mutuals with them on literally every platform. And then we'd like talk. And I'm like, oh, I guess manifestation's not totally.
No, there's been a lot of things that we have manifested that have happened.
Accidental manifestation.
Yeah.
Which I call a happy surprise. Some might call an accident happy surprise. Surprise.
Also, we should try to get that person on again because things have slowed down. So they're not going to be out doing interviews and stuff.
You know what? This is our time to shine guest-wise.
Yes, it is. It really is.
And
because they can go on
share in their misery.
Yes, they can go on podcasts, but they can't be promoting anything. So this is a perfect time.
Everybody's schedule is wide open. Wow, good call.
But I think that's a good start.
Like audience, if you have ideas or things.
And we should post this on y'all will hear it. If you're just listening to this, you'll hear it after the people that are part of our Patreon that we've already posed the question to them.
Yeah. So we obviously want to keep like the same broad concept of like giving advice. We're not trying to like pivot to like an entirely different niche, but something that just opens up more opportunity for, you know,
like collaboration, expanding, growing our brand as like podcasters. Because the truth is like podcasting isn't the same as it was before.
Yeah.
And we're just changing up. We don't want to go away. That's the thing. It's like we don't want to go away. We love working together. We love having the community that we have. We've made friends from the community that we've built. And, you know, we did go on lockdown pretty much of like, we're not letting anybody else into this friendship because it was special. Like it I mean, and it still is special, but
we're protective over the people that we had like formed these relationships with.
At the end of the day, this is a business too.
Yeah. And I think like we are also, I specifically am like I know a lot more to like what to like look for and how to be like, I think we've also fostered like a really great community that like, I don't want to say this in like a patronizing way that like we've felt protective over people, but like the podcast is very personal. Like people share like really personal things, but I also think that like we've fostered a community who's protective of each other.
Yeah.
And so I don't think that we need to be so closed off in that sense. Like I don't think that like we need to I have faith in like the people that we let into this space, but also the audience as a whole of like caring for their own and knowing that like, you know, if we mess up, we fuck up, like just tell us and like we'll fix it
We'll
or
fix it
do
and
whatever we
learn
need to
from
do.
it and
Yeah. And like that's
research
been a
and-
lot of what this podcast has been.
Mhm.
And I think there'd be something nice about the world has just changed since the pandemic has happened. And so we've always used like media kind of like as an escape. But in the last couple of years, like there's a lot of like hard shit that people are going through.
Mhm.
And I think like bringing back advice and gossip in fun ways that is not so heavy. So people who listen to this as a comfort, it's still that. It's still a comfort. And also people can not just use it as a escape, but also can be going through tough times in their lives, but then I don't want to talk about it. So then I'm going to call in or write in about something else and be able to like actively participate in it as is,
Mhm.
not like, oh, I'm going to wait until I'm in a better space and then ask for advice on this like rough thing that I'm going through. I'm still like obviously like open up to like talking about like harder topics and things that are happening with people. But yeah, being able to have a little more control of making sure that each episode's not like super heavy
Mhm.
for people. And I think that
'Cause
shift
there
has happened
was-
in the pandemic.
Yeah, there was a time where the episodes would get really dark and we were like, we can't do that.
Yeah, because it's also not good for our mental
Yeah.
health. And I don't want to, as someone who we're still in the midst of the pandemic and like still dealing with like, the effects of that. Like I would never want people to, hey, stop calling us in with like hard, sad shit you're going through. And I think we all wanted the world to kind of like just go back at a
Mhm.
certain point, and it's not there. So I think we need to adapt and change for this to make it so like it's a fun experience for everybody, and it'll have bright moments, sadder moments, but also just like a hopeful and like the least cheesy way possible.
Yeah.
You know, because like advice should be hopeful, not like you're doomed.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
so
yeah, we're real. And the thing is, like, we've gotten really comfortable, and now we've got to get a little bit uncomfortable again.
I love being uncomfortable. I don't.
No.
Physically, I physically hate it. I will rip my bra off. Speaking of uncomfortable,
Do you have a bra on?
no, but I'm sweating. So let's wrap up this episode so I can turn your fucking AC on.
Yeah.
I'm feeling my eyebrow sweat.
Okay.
So yeah. Also, we'll pose the question like Melissa said. It'll be on our Patreon. But also you can head on over to our Instagram if you have. You can comment on like the last picture, but you can also just slide into the DMs if you have ideas too. So we'd love to hear from you, and or if any of these things that we brought up sound like your vibe.
Yeah. All right. Have a good day.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Don't Blame Me is a production by me, Megan Rinks.
And me, Melissa D. Montz, plus Diamond Imprint Productions.
Post-production sound and editing by Coco Lorenz.
Production assistance by Melanie D. Watson.
And music by Giacomo Picasso and Ryan Hunter.
What's up, everyone? It's Noah Daniels.
Hey, y'all, I'm JJ.
Hey, guys, it's Kat.
And we're your hosts of the Real Hauntings podcast, where we bring on guests who share their first-hand encounter ghost stories and supernatural experiences. Now on to the trailer.
I've been warned to not tell this story, but I think because of the way it ends, it's okay to tell this story, because some people say that with certain entities, to like speak of them or talk about them or in any way like portray them as powerful will attract them to other people. The creepiest thing about it to me is a lot of times it would wait for me to notice it. Like, it would just lay its arm out like this, and then I'd be like, where is it? Where is it? And then I'd see it, and then it would just slither back.
For more information on the Real Hauntings, Real Ghost Stories podcast, make sure you check out Real.fm to learn more about our podcast and many other amazing podcasts.
Merry Christmas, everybody. My name is Eric Peterson. I'm here with my good buddy,
Danny Jordan.
And we are the co-hosts of the Christmas. Let me try that again. Merry Christmas, everybody. My name is Eric Peterson. I'm here with my good buddy,
Danny Jordan.
And we are the hosts of Christmas Countdown Show.
We're so thrilled to be bringing the merriment to you all this holiday season.
It's going to be awesome.
It's going to be massively merry,
Oh,
gigantically jolly, fantastically festive, as
good.
some people might say, Eric. We are all about alliterations, and we are all about Christmas spirit. On Christmas Countdown, we love to count down our top 10 favorite things related to the holiday season. That could be food, movies, music, everything that we all love about this massively merry good time. So wherever you get your podcasts, make sure you click that subscribe button. Eric, are you ready?
I am ready, and we hope that you are too. Merry Christmas, everybody. Let's go. It should be like, let's go, ho, ho, ho.
Yeah, it should be. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Jennifer, a co-founder of the Go Kid Go Network. At Go Kid Go, putting kids first is at the heart of every show that we produce. That's why we're so excited to introduce a brand new show to our network called The Search for the Silver Lining, a fantasy adventure series about a spirited young girl named Isla who time travels to the mythical land of Camelot. During her journey, Isla meets new friends, including King Arthur and his Knights of the Round Table, and learns valuable life lessons with every quest, sword fight, and dragon ride. Positive and uplifting stories remind us all about the importance of kindness, friendship, honesty, and positivity. Join me and an all-star cast of actors including Liam Neeson, Emily Blunt, Kristen Bell, Chris Hemsworth, among many others, in welcoming the Search for the Silver Lining podcast to the Go Kid Go Network by listening today. Look for the Search for the Silver Lining on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, are you ready for some real talk and some fantastic laughs? Join me, Megan Rinks.
And me, Melissa DeMonts, for Don't Blame Me, But Am I Wrong?
We're serving up 4 hilarious shows every week designed to entertain and engage and, possibly enrage you.
In Don't Blame Me, we dive deep into listeners' questions, offering advice that's funny, relatable, and real.
Whether you're dealing with relationship drama or you just need a friend's perspective, we've got you.
Then switch gears with But Am I Wrong, which is for listeners who didn't take our advice and want to know if they are the villains in the situation.
Plus, we share our hot takes on current events and present situations that we might even be wrong in our lives. Spoiler alert, we are actually quite literally never wrong.
But wait, there's more. Check out See You Next Tuesday, where we reveal the juicy results from our listener polls from But Am I Wrong?
And don't miss Fisting Friday, where we catch up, chat about pop culture, TV, and movies. It's the perfect way to kick off your weekend.
So if you're looking for a podcast that feels like a chat with your besties, listen to Don't Blame Me, But Am I Wrong on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. New episodes every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday.